So this is the continuation of previous video. So we are discussing about nested and inner classes. So as we have seen, there are two types of nested classes, that is static nested class and non-static nested class. Here non-static nested class is called as inner class. So static nested class is one that has a static keyword with it, and because it is static, it must access the member of its enclosing class through an object. Okay, so that is, it cannot access or it cannot refers to member function of enclosing class directly. So this is the restriction that is posed on static nested classes, and they are most rarely used. So more commonly we are using inner classes, that is a type of non-static nested class. And here I was explaining the example. Look at this. So here we have defined a class called as outer, and in that we have taken one variable, instance variable, that is 100. So outer underscore x is equal to 100. Next I have defined one method here, that is test, and then I have created the object of inner class. You can see at this, you can look at this. Inner class is not yet defined, but still I have defining the class inner class here, because outer class has a knowledge of inner class, but inner class does not have any knowledge of outer class. So here only I am defining, I am creating the object. So inner is equal to new inner, and by using that object inner, I am accessing the display method which is present in inner class. Okay, so inner class I have defined here. You can look at this, and the display method is there. So here I am accessing the outer value that is there in x. So inner function can access the outer value. Okay, so that is outer x value is 100, and we are accessing it in inner class, because the scope of this outer x is starts from this function and ends at here. You can see over here, so at this flower bracket, because outer that variable is declared in outer class, so the scope begins with that opening flower bracket and ends at this flower bracket. So we can till this flower bracket we can access this value of outer x. So here I am accessing that value in inner x, that is okay, because the scope of that outer x variable is up to this flower bracket. So here I am accessing that, that is display outer x, and the value is equal to 100, that will be shown to user. After that I have closed that outer class here, inner class is closed here, and display method is closed here. So three flower brackets are closed, and next I have defined one more class, that is inner class demo, then public static void main string args. Now I have created the object of outer class, that is outer is equal to new outer, and then by using this object I am accessing the method test. So you can look at this test method which is here. Okay, so then here I am creating the object of inner class, and through that I am accessing the display method. So again control will transfer to inner class and will access this display method, and then after that it will print this message, that is display outer x is equal to the value of outer x will be printed, that is 100. Can look at the output. Okay, so this is the example which defines the inner and outer class. The scope of outer variable is starts with that flower bucket and ends at this flower bucket, but the scope of inner variable, that is if we declare any variable here in the inner class, the scope starts with this flower bucket and ends at this flower bucket. After that I can't access that variable, so that is very important to know. Okay, so this means directly this inner class can access the variables of outer class. Okay, so as I mentioned in my previous video, the inner class can access all the variables of outer class. Okay, but the outer class is having knowledge of inner class, and inner class does not have knowledge of outer class. So that I will explain it in next upcoming videos. Okay, so you can see one more example over here. So it is important to realize that instance of inner class can be, we can create this instance of inner class, or we can create the object of inner class in outer class also. So as we have seen in our example, we have created this inner object, that is we have instantiated that class before we have defining that inner class. You can see that inner class is defined over here, but the object is created here in the outer class. Look at this. So instantiation happens here. So that is also possible because as I said that the inner class or the outer class is having the knowledge of inner class. So there itself we can create the object because the scope of this outer class starts with the flower bracket and ends at this flower bracket. So within that I can define anything. Okay, so as I am repeatedly telling that the outer class is having knowledge of inner class. So wherever we want to declare any or create any object of the inner class, we can create it over there on there itself. Okay. So next, look at the example over here. So which is explaining about the scope of inner class. Okay, look at this. Again, class outer. So I have taken one variable that is outer underscore x is equal to 100. So the scope of this variable starts with this flower bracket and ends at the flower bracket where one second. Yeah, over here. Okay, so at this flower bracket it will end. Okay, so up to that I can access this outer x variable. Okay, next I have defined one method called as void test. Then I have instantiated the inner class by creating the object, and then by using that object inner I am accessing the display method. So inner dot display. Next, look at this class inner. I have declared here a class inner. So inside that I have declared one more variable, that is int y is equal to 10. The scope of this variable starts with this flower bracket and ends at this flower bracket. So after that I can't access the value of y, or I can't modify the value of y. Within this class only I can access it. That means outer variable, the outer class variable can be accessible inside inner class, but inner class variable we can't access it in the outer class. Okay, is that clear? Okay, so white display. So here I am displaying the value of outer x. That is okay because outer x the scope starts here and ends at last flower bracket. Okay, but inner y, that is int y, I can access it within this class only. Outside this class here, it is not possible to access. You can look at this white show of y system.out.println. I want to print the value of y, but it is showing this error. Y is not known because the scope ends here only. So from this flower bracket to this flower bracket. Okay, so what we conclude with this example, that the variables which are defined in outer class can be accessible within inner class, but the variable that we have declared inside inner class cannot be accessible in the outer class because of its scope. Okay, so that is very important to know over here. And one more example is given in your textbook, so please go through that example. Next, you know about string. A string is a set of character enclosed within a pair of double quotes. So already we have explained about it, so please go through the string concept also if possible. So next is command line argument. So we have seen that in public static void main, we are passing a command line argument like string args. Okay, so this is called as command line argument. So command line argument in Java means it is quite easy, where while running a program, so first we compile it by using javac filename.java. After that we will give like Java, then file name. After that you can supply your input to the program. That is called as command line argument. So during that executing of program only, we are supplying the input, okay, in the form of string over here. So that we will call it as a command line argument. Okay, so you can look at this example, command line class command line public static void main string args. This is a command line argument. Okay, and this is an array where it takes the arrays of string. That means we can write a sentences over here. Okay, so all these sentences store like this. For example, if I pass like I am in fourth semester, so it take I as a argument ARGS 0, am as a ARGS 1, in as a ARGS 2, I am in class that is ARGS 3, fourth sem that is ARGS 4. Like this, it will start the array indexing from 0 and it will take the second word in the index of 1 and next word in the index of 2. Like this, it stores in a argument array. So you can look at this for int I is equal to 0, I less than args dot length, that is total length of that line, then I plus plus. So it starts with 0. The first word will store in args of 0. Uh, you can see over here. So while we are executing the program, we will give Java command line name of the program. Look at this. This is called as command line argument. Over here only we are supplying the input. So now this is stored in ARGS of 0, E is stored in ARGS of 1, A is stored in ARGS of 2, test is stored in ARGS of 3, 100 is stored in ARGS of 4, and last minus 1 is stored in ARGS of 5. So this is the output. Look at this. So that is called as command line argument. So during the execution of program only we are supplying the input to the program. That is called as command line argument. Okay. So okay. So this is about the chapter number 7, and next is inheritance that we have seen in class. So up to this it is very important for you to remember, and most importantly these topics are not in the syllabus, but these topics are very essential for your next chapters, that is chapter number 8, 9, 10. So please go through the video. If you have any doubts, please ask it. Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice day.